What is up, guys? My name is Aaron, and we're doing something a little bit different. I'm not in the office right now. I'm not at my desk. I am making a sandwich, actually making 3, because I gotta go to work in 26 minutes. I gotta dip out. So we're gonna do something down here in the kitchen, but I have a story to tell you guys. This is the time. Also, this is the story of when I saw something weird happen in the night sky while we were camping. I have run through the story a couple of times so that I could avoid adding extra details, because that's the way my brain likes to tell stories. I add all kinds of weird details that aren't needed. So I know when I'm telling people locally, it's one thing. But telling you guys, I want to make sure you only get the details you really need and what makes the story make sense. So, disclaimer, I was a teenager, so it's been a little while. Now, hunting, fishing, camping, that's my dad. 3/4 of the year he's outdoors doing something. So, this is one of those times where he was going to go with or without us. That's just kind of how it was. That was his thing. My sister usually didn't go, but this time she just happened to. And it's kind of crazy that there's a third person, like, it's not just me and my dad, because I went with my dad almost every hunt, almost every fishing trip, almost every camping opportunity. So me and my dad, like, that was expected, more or less. My sister going up, again, it adds to the eyewitness reporting. My dad had a friend, we're going to give some of the context. My dad had a friend who, he and his brothers, the friend and his brothers, had a ranch in north-ish New Mexico, like outside of Santa Fe. The ranch, it was super primitive, and the area that it was in was super primitive. So it was really, really dark, and it was about, I don't know, it was probably 5 miles inside of a canyon. So you take a dirt road off of a main highway, and then you go maybe 5 miles down into a really dark canyon. And all of these really old houses, I mean, they've got drainages and stuff for their water, like they're old houses. All these generations old ranching homes. And a couple of people still lived out there. You could tell, like, a couple of the houses had lights on, so it wasn't completely uninhabited. And then there were campers, because this canyon did have a campground, but it was probably another 10 miles beyond where we were. So sometimes they would enter from a side closer to the campground, and then sometimes they would exit our direction. So we would see people leaving every now and then, but not this late at night. So we get there in the morning, we set up camp. My dad brought a pop-up camper so we wouldn't stay in their cabin. It was kind of like, we're already here, we'll just, we're already here, but we'll use our stuff kind of thing. So we're there, set up the pop-up camper, we get changed out into our camo, and we go for an afternoon hunt. And if you're not familiar with hunting, you usually do a morning and an afternoon, because animals bed down during the day. We do the hunt, we get back, we make some food. It was probably Alfredo or something, like it always was. And we opted to not light a campfire. If you do hunting, you know that animals can smell literally everything. So we purposely didn't light a campfire so we could just sit in the dark, listen to the elk bugling across the canyon over our heads to each other. It was so cool. It was amazing. And we're just sitting there, chilling. We're all quietly just kind of like, oh yeah, do you hear that one over here? It seems like it's moving this way. And you hear this one? It sounds like there's a third one maybe back up further. Kind of stuff like that. We all happen to randomly notice that the entire sky would just light up from horizon to horizon. It would just, a massive flash of light, just all of a sudden, for maybe a split second. No thunder, just the light, as if there was lightning. But it would light up the entire canyon as if it was daytime, just for a second, a half second. And it did it a few times. And we're all sitting there like, it's gotta be lightning. It has to be. There's nothing else that could do this, at least that we knew of. So we're sitting there, we're kind of freaked out at this point, because we're like, I don't know Like, the sky is clear. We can see the stars so well. The sky is clear as hell. There's no city lights that could be interrupting. Like, it is dark out here in this canyon, especially now that we don't have a campfire. All you can see is like, it's a pretty full moon, but it's still in the middle of the woods. And these flashes of light are just making it like daytime. And it probably happened, I don't know, a few times, handful of times. And that was it. And we're all kind of just sitting there like, that's weird. I don't see any storm rolling in. We start, all three of us, randomly, just by chance, all see a satellite. And I say by chance because nobody announced that it was up there, but all three of us just happened to notice it, and we're watching it actively. And again, we didn't say anything. We didn't know that any other one of us had even seen it until it did this weird thing. We watch it move across the sky in a pretty straight line, slight arc like you would expect a satellite. Solid red light, typical satellite. We all knew that's what it was. And it's moving across the sky. And then maybe a minute, 45 seconds after watching it, it stops. And it doesn't just kind of slow down. It moves across the sky and then completely freezes. Still. Again, it doesn't slow down, it doesn't make any kind of flashing noise, none of that. It doesn't arc, it just stops. It goes across the sky, like that. That is when we all say, you see that satellite? My sister's like, yeah. Did it just like stop? We're all aware that this is not how satellites work. Okay, so this is the point where we all announce to each other, like, that's weird, like, did it just, I didn't know satellites could stop, I didn't know they could do that, blah, 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 right? We're all making comments about it. And that's when we all noticed, like, I guess everybody else was watching the same satellite. That's pretty cool. At least I'm not the only one who noticed this weird thing. That is when the light, because it was a red light, again, I know what a satellite looks like. I see them all the time. The light goes from a faint little red dot in the sky to white. Perfectly white. Picture like a car coming down a highway where one of its headlights is broken, so it only has one shining headlight. That's what this thing turned into. It got much brighter and completely white light. And I don't know if it was coming towards us or if it was getting so bright and so big that it just looked like it was getting closer. But it surely looked like it was coming straight towards us, like down a highway, right towards us. And it did this for maybe, I don't know, 15, 30 seconds. That it just it looked like it was coming straight towards us and brighter and brighter. And then what it looked like, perceptibly, it stopped midair. And then it moved left and right like this. It kind of went left and then back right further, and then left and right again, and then down and back up. And then it started to, I don't know if it was going, now this is the opposite, I don't know if it was going away from us or if it was dimming, but it dimmed and it dimmed. It looked like it was going straight away from us again. It did the opposite movement, straight away from us till it dimmed out of existence. And this we probably watched for 2 minutes because it took a lot longer to disappear than it did to get bigger and brighter. So we watched it for maybe, like I said, a couple of minutes. And my dad is like, wow, what the hell is that? Like, what is going on? I've never seen a satellite move left and right and dip away. Like, could that be a meteor? Like, could that be, right? We're trying to like justify what the hell this was. He's like, oh, maybe it broke apart, but like, do satellites just break apart like that randomly? We're trying to figure this thing out. I'm scared as shit. I have anxiety. I know this now as an adult, but as a teenager, I didn't know what this was, but I was freaked the hell out. I had a hard time falling asleep that night, because after this, we wrapped our shit up and we got in the camper. We're like, nah, we're... Even my dad was weirded out enough for us to go in the camper. My dad was stalked by a mountain lion one time while hunting. I was with my dad one time when we were followed by wolves. My dad's not scared of animals and things like that. He's afraid of being lost more than he's afraid of any animal in the woods. So when he's like, all right, it's bedtime. We're like, all right, I'm out. It was weird. Super duper creepy. I looked up some different stories last night because I actually, just out of curiosity, I just typed in literally exactly what happened, because I've looked this up before, like weird lights in the sky, and you get the typical UFO stories. So I looked up just specifically like a satellite that changes directions and turns white in the night sky or something like that. And I scrolled and scrolled. I went through several pages on Google and could not find a like research-based or scientific-based website or paper that was mentioning anything like this. I looked, because for this story, I wanted to have some sort of proof or some sort of research that I later found out debunked this, right? I wanted to debunk that this wasn't aliens, that this was in fact a satellite that split apart, or that satellites could change directions in the night sky. And they actually can't. That's like specifically something they can't do or will not do. If they have to change their direction or their momentum or whatever, they do it slowly over the course of their orbit, because they can make a slight adjustment at the start of their orbit and be in a completely different spot by the time they come back around. So that's how they typically do it. So they do not stop and change direction, especially not like that. They might make an arc or something, but they do not move up, down, left, and right. So I did find some stories, people saying they saw the same thing. People saying that they were looking in the night sky when it just went a complete 90-degree angle and went in an entirely different direction. There were a couple of stories I saw where people would see two of them moving either together or in opposite directions and purposely move to seemingly avoid colliding with each other, like moving like this or moving parallel to each other. All of a sudden one of them will change direction and move with it again. A couple of stories like that. Search Reddit, there's all kinds of crazy stuff on there, but that's my story. And again, I scrolled several pages trying to find, I think it was NOOA or something like that, NOAA, I think it is. All kinds of different academic sites would show up, and I would read, their description boxes and stuff. I'd click on it and be like, no, that's not what it is, and back out. I looked, because I want to know what I saw. This has been on my mind for years. It's been on my dad's mind for years. Like we tell the story, I think it was 2 or 3 Thanksgivings ago. I guess it was 3 Thanksgivings ago when we talked about it. Me and my dad talked about it to my stepmom and now wife about the story. We're like reliving it at the dining room table. I don't know what we saw. It was weird. It was creepy. I can still see it like I'm there. And could it have been I was a teenager. I wasn't drinking. My sister wasn't drinking. My dad might have had a beer or two, but all 3 of us saw it and confirmed it. Like at the same time we saw it and confirmed it. So nobody was making it up. We didn't announce that we saw it until it started doing weird things. That's when we brought it up. So I don't know. Pretty weird. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I'm going to package up these sandwiches and head to work. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Drink water, be safe, and I will see you in the next video.